It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. I'm talking TV. I'm talking movies. I'm talking anime, cartoons, sci-fi, and fantasy. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's the E.A.R. Chronicles. Welcome back to the E.A.R. Chronicles. It's your host, Eric. This is the place where you're going to get all of my opinions and thoughts on TV shows and movies that I like. And of course, I'm always open to hear what you got to say because we are a community here. And I'm just excited to talk about The Wheel of Time, y'all. I can't stress it enough. This is the show you want to be watching. But before I go any further to talk about season 3, episodes 4 and 5, y'all know what you need to do. Click that subscription button. Subscribe to my channel. I want to hear from you. I want you to be as involved in this as possible. And it's just a great show to talk about, right? So go ahead and subscribe to the E.A.R. Chronicles. Thank you very kindly. And follow me on social media at the E.A.R. Chronicles on IG and TikTok, and the E.A.R. Chronicles on Twitter. So, y'all, I have 2 episodes to pack into this. I'm going to try not to hold you long. I promise. I will do my best. I will do my best. There's a lot to get through. But I'm just going to start off by saying episode 4. I've been watching this season and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And, and I've looked at the reviews. I've heard the people who read the books, what they had to say about this episode, and the people who have not watched it and what they had to say. And now we got to talk about what I got to say. We got to listen to what I got to say. And I'm going to preface this. I realize now that this episode 4, was the episode for those who really love the books, that this episode really did something for y'all. Like this was the one everybody was like, this is what we've been waiting for from the Wheel of Time. This is the episode. This is what it should have been from the jump. And I gotta be honest, this was not my favorite episode. It wasn't. Episode 4 was not my favorite. And I thought it dragged a lot of it. It dragged for me personally. It dragged, right? It's high fantasy, and I know this story is very extensive and there's so much to tell. And I just did not get it, upon that first watch and walking through the story, and it didn't make sense. But I'm a part of some Wheel of Time groups on Facebook, and there are some really informative people there. And so I appreciate it. Their commentary and their explanation of what went down on episode 4, because I was out of the loop. And so now, after hearing what they had to say, the people in the Facebook group, and explaining to me some of the things that I might have missed or didn't understand, I now realize the importance of this story in Ruidian. And we'll get to it. Let's get to it. But I'm walking away, not as disappointed with this episode in hindsight, but it's still not my favorite. I'm just gonna let y'all know. So we get to the point where Lan and Avienda get ready to sword fight. So that's really how they start us off with episode 4. She's like, you can't have no swords over here, because she started talking to Rand. You can't have no swords near the city. We don't know why. They explain later. But she trying to start a fight with him. And Lan's like, I ain't put my sword up. What you gonna do? Fight me. And so she do. They get to fighting, but then it gets put to a stop by the wise one. And Bear, I think that's her name. Y'all forgive me with these folks' names. It's so many names to remember. I can't remember them all. And I didn't write them down. I'm like, no, not even gonna bog myself down. If y'all want the cool cut details, y'all go to the Dusty Wheel. Y'all go to the Unravel pattern. Y'all go over there. We gonna give you the concise, condensed version over here, because y'all know what we're talking about if you watched the episode. And so she like, all right, girl, put them spears down. It's time for you to become a wise one. This is your path. We didn't let you play too long. Now get out, go to the city of the clouds, go to Ruidian and go through the rings like you're supposed to. So Avienda heads to the rings, right? And Moraine wants to go too, even though she wasn't supposed to, but she was granted access to go to the rings as well, and she will later on, as we see. But Rand, this is a very Rand centric episode. It's good to see him get more shine because he's supposed to be the main character, and a lot of y'all been harping on that. So good to see him get some shine. Um, so Rand goes to Reading. He has to get permission as well to prove that he's the Karakan. And the Karakan, the Kara something. Okay. So Rand goes to Ruinian, him and Moraine, she goes with him. Egwene try to go, but they're like, sister, your path and his don't align. You ain't going with him. And so they go down to the city. They come up on this tree, the tree of life. And upon this tree, him and Rain, they got like oil and water at this point. He not feeling her. She trying to get him to trust her. And he's just like, give me a reason. Give me a reason. And everything she's mentioning him is falling on deaf ears. But she does talk to him about the tree and how the Aiel War began because the king, her uncle, was given and gifted the sapling of this tree, and he swore oath to protect this sapling, right? But then he decided he wanted to turn it into a throne because no one else would have it. This caused the Aiel to be furious because they gave him this as a repayment for a debt that they owed to him, and for him to break his oath to protect it, sent them down. I mean, sent them in a tizzy. So much of a tizzy that they started the Aiel War. They only wanted him, but because the people, the wetlanders as they call them, did not want to give him up, they caused them to kill thousands upon thousands of others in the midst of them trying to exact revenge. And so we find that connection that we know that Rand is an Aiel, that his parents were Aiel, or at least his dad was, because when he mentioned his mom, she was like, yeah, mom was not Aiel. So we got some more backstory to cover later on, I'm sure, in the season. But we find out later on that, we knew that his dad was Aiel, and that was he was part of that raid, or the war that went to go get revenge for that sapling. And her uncle was the cause of it. So even despite being born years apart, that's what I'm getting at, there was an intricate connection to them two, despite Rand not trusting her and her doing a poor job of convincing him to trust her. So I like that they were able to weave their stories together. So I did appreciate that. I thought that was wonderful. Then we get to the part where Rand, he has to go through the glass columns, these beautiful glass columns. And it is explained to him that each step forward is a step back in time, that he will revisit the lives of his ancestors that came before him so he can understand the true meaning of what it means to be Aiel. And if he survives this, he will come out with 2 dragon tattoos, golden tattoos. So as Rand is going through this journey in Ruidian through the glass columns, he starts to experience these past lives. So the first being was his dad, and they show his dad on top of the Dragon Mount, killing the king of Kyran, who is Moraine's uncle. And so we get that backstory. We get to see him. We see a little bit of his mother. She's already dead, and she already had him. But it was nice to see that aspect. And then the next life we have that Rand experiences is the first chief of Ruidian. He is talking to Latra Sadai. We met her in season 1 and 2 a little bit, but now she's a little bit aged, a lot of bit aged. And we see her with this crystal ball, which we come to find out is the Sakarnan, the very powerful Sangreal that Lanfear was mentioning to Rand, that equals Kalendor in strength, but this is the female Sangreal. Only the women, the Sedai, Aes Sedai, only they can use it, right? And so this is a picture for you watching. This is Latra using the Sakarnan to create the glass columns. And we see as Rand is the first chief, in this history unwinding for him, he's Like, why are you doing this? Why are we here? So this was created, the glass columns were created by the Aes Sedai in this city so that the Aes Sedai could understand, so that the Aiel could understand that they broke their oaths. They were supposed to always protect um, the saplings and the items that they were gifted. And that's what they were charged to do, to always protect these things. And we realized that along this journey that some of them went separate ways and had their own ideas of what it meant to uphold those oaths. And so upon this journey, he then goes back to, I do remember Lewin's name, right? Lewin, his story was a tragic one. So we see a young Lewin, which is obviously got Rand's face, because Rand, Joshua, played. I can't talk today, y'all. Y'all know I'm tired. This how y'all know I'm tired. Because currently it is 7 a.m. over here, East Central Time. So Lewin, Rand's ancestor, he gets in trouble because his sisters are captured by some bandits. Him and his friends go to rescue them, and they are part of the Tuathawan, the people who follow the leaf, the Aiel who follow the leaf. These are the Jin Aiel, the ones who believe in the way of the leaf, which means no harm, no violence. You can't kill, you can't attack. That is their way. But he refuses to allow his sister and her friend to be captured. So they go and try to rescue him. In the process, his friend gets killed, and he then kills the bandits. You would think that all is well, right? Wrong. Because when they get back, do you not know that the sister ratted him out? He killed them. He killed them all. Why would you open your mouth to say something? Oh, y'all, but I tell you, this scene got me hot. Oh, it had me hot. He should have just left her behind and the other girl. He was better off leaving there, because why would you fix your mouth and fix your lips to snitch after he just rescued you? Oh, and after that, y'all, the grandpa was like, that was not the way. You exiled, goodbye. And he tried to talk to his mama. And she said, is it true? Is it true? He's like, I did what I had to do. And this, oh, it almost broke my heart. And when she says, he was like, mother. And she's like, who are you who calls me mother? Oh, God. And then she says, the stranger, who are you, stranger? With that face that looks like my son. Oh, but it can't be you. Y'all, she told him to leave. She wanted nothing to do with him. And so from that point on, him and his friend, they became the Aiel we know of today, the spear wielding Aiel, the ones who don't care about violence, the ones who use violence to uphold and protect their oaths, like the ones that started the Aiel War. And those are the ones everybody thought or think are the true Aiel. But the true Aiel are part of the ones who really truly follow the way of the leaf, right? We would think are the Tuathawan, right? But before we get there, and I describe why they truly aren't the real Aiel either, even though they follow the way of the leaf. So Rand then goes to, after Lewin, he goes to this servant ancestor of his who served the Aes Sedai in this more futuristic world, where Latra entrusts him with the Sakarnan specifically and the tree saplings to protect. That was their oath. Protect the Sakarna, protect these tree saplings, protect these other items that we give you, no matter what. And you travel until you get to this place that you'll know, which is Ruidian, which we find out is Ruidian. It's the place that they were supposed to be at. But somewhere along the lines, they sent out tens of thousands of, carriages with all these saplings to spread across the world. And, several questions were brought up. Like, for me personally, I was like, why didn't they send the Aes Sedai to go with them to protect them along the journey? But then it was reinformed to me that, other Aes Sedai they can sense another channel. So it wouldn't have been a secret, right? So they really couldn't send some Aes Sedai, although some said that they sent some later on. But how also the question was raised, how did Latra find them in Ruidian? How did she know if there was they just were sent out into the world? Did she just spend all those thousands of years looking for them? I don't know. So if y'all have an answer, please let me know. I would love to know in the comments. So please do that. And so after this particular ancestor, then we see the ancestor was an old grandfather and a grandson, right? Trying to hold up the blood stain down. The rest of the group was like, we done. We not doing this no more. We not about to keep worried about this little saplings, these items. We are just going to follow the way of the leaf and forge our own path. So even the Tuatha that we know today, the Tinkerers, also broke their oaths. Because the oaths, once again, that was made with the Aes Sedai, with this servant historic ancestor of Rand's, was to protect these items no matter the cost. So they also broke their oaths. And so the chiefs, when they go to, all the Aiel chiefs have to go to the glass columns to really get their history. And a lot of them died because they can't accept the truth that they too, their ancestors broke their oaths as well. And so this whole journey is about understanding and accepting the truth. So even after the grandfather, we see the beginning or a portion of the beginning of the ages. So before the breaking of the world, we get an ancestor who is in the wheat fields. But before he gets to the wheat fields, he's talking to a lady who looks like Lanfear, y'all. But her name is Mirren of this age, right? And we see them in the boar. And for those of you who've read the books, you know what the boar is. I'm still getting some concept of what the boar is, but I just know this big old sphere in the sky, all this technology created by the One Power. So we find out that Lanfear, Mirren at this time, has discovered that there is a power beyond the One Power. There's a source. There's a source to the power that they now use. You know, they use Saidin for the men and Sidar for the women. But there is a power beyond both those that anyone can use without burning out, without there being stipulations, you know. And so although this world that they're living in currently is prosperous, she's a scientist. She wants more. And so we see they break through to that source, right? Here's a picture. They break through, and I love the visual of the world literally like cracking through. So this is the picture of the Dark One. So that source that Mirren / Lanfear was looking for was really the Dark One's prison. Whether she knew this or not, it's debatable. But the true source, the source of the Dark One's power, was behind this barrier that she broke. Her and the scientists broke. And they released the Dark One into the world, y'all. That's what released them. Oh my God. I love hearing this history though. And I think this history telling through Rand's eyes of his ancestors, I really appreciate it. So I didn't know about this because I'm not a book reader yet. Well, that's a lie. I started reading it. But I'm not this far into the story, right? And so this was such a cool visual, and I enjoyed seeing this part of the story and getting that back history that we hadn't had before. And so after this, after we get the experiences of Rand and him going through the past of his ancestors, we get Moraine going the opposite direction into the future through the rings. And through these rings, she sees thousands upon thousands of possibilities of futures as the wheel turns of what could happen. And in a lot of these futures, we see her alive, but Rand does not make it. The dragon don't make it. And then the opposite, when she getting killed, by Lanfear. She's dying. Rand lives. And I had to show y'all. I have to put the clip in here because I was cracking up. Lanfear was tearing her up in these visions. Tearing her up. And then she went back for it again. Oh. Like, she ate her up. I had to give y'all the small dose because I ain't got time for nothing to get cut off. Because of copyright. I don't know how to do all that. But I was hollering. Listen, she told slicing every turn of the wheel. Tearing Moraine up, y'all. Moraine had no rest. She had no peace. But I love the sequence. And I can say that this episode was so visually stunning. The visuals, you know how y'all the visuals. These are the visuals of the season. And it was just absolutely incredible. And so after she passes through the rings, you know, she is passed out. Rand finds her. He completes his journey. He finds her. He gets his golden tattoos. He also finds the Sakarnin, and he grabs her and carries her out of the city. And that's how episode 4 ends. Enter episode 5. Okay. Episode 5 is so good. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I loved every single minute of it. So I loved every single minute of it. And so many great moments through this episode. And I think everybody's so hyped for episode 6. But we can't get episode 6 without going through 5. So we start off episode 5 with more stunning visuals. Like, can we give the visual department, I don't know what you call it. I just see people say VFX, the visual and sound effects. There we go. I think that's what they mean. We got to give them their flowers. We got to, because listen, look at this. This is where we start off with. This stunning visual of Moraine trying to get a handle on the Sakarnin. She's channeling through it. And at first it seemed like she got it, y'all. And then that thing started jerking her. I mean, turned her every way but loose. That thing had her all to the side, to the left, to the right, all the way around. That thing was tearing her up. She could not control it to save her life. Okay. She was getting ready to burn herself out, but thankfully Lan was there to grab her and hold her before she burnt herself out, trying to channel through it. And then we get more of Rand and the crew going through E.A.R life. Y'all, I don't want no more. Can we get out of the ways, please? Please. Can we get out of the ways? Oh, my apologies. My overall review for episode 4, I forgot to tell y'all. While at first I didn't understand it, and I would have probably given it a 5.5 out of 10, but because I understood what it means now, what it meant for Rand to go through the journey of Ruidian, and getting the information about the E.A.R and their history, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I know a lot of y'all be like, that's low. I don't care. That's my review. 7.5 out of 10 for episode 4. And back to 5. Yes, can we get out of the ways, please? I don't care about the ways. I don't. I really don't. Not much really happens. Rand is introduced to more people. There's a little girl that's introduced to, and a lot of people are like, oh, she's the one. She's the one. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it's something tragic, by the way everybody's talking about it. But after that, seeing all that life, we see him and Abby trying to have, they kind of had that little banter or whatever. I guess this budding relationship that's supposed to happen between them. I don't see it. I don't. I know it happened in the books, but I just don't see it. But it's there. And then the lady who Land meets, who's also Malkirian, offers him this bug to taste, and I was there looking like, I ain't all that. Should I taste it? No, keep it. But I know you're supposed to be respectful to other people's cultures when it comes to their food, child. So you just got to just take a little bit and put it to the side if you don't like it. And by his face, I know he ain't like it, but okay. Then we get to the wise ones teaching Moraine, teaching Egwene how to properly dream walk. So they give her instructions on how to do it, that she is in full control. And as they're teaching her how to do all of this, they go in there with her, and everything's great. And then Lanfear appears and attacks her. And then she takes control and gets herself out. And they're like, girl, you have a Forsaken after you, girl. You are in danger. You in danger, girl. I should have put the Whoopi Goldberg. You in danger, girl. Because she is. Lanfear is after you, baby. And what are you going to do about it is the question. Guess we'll see. And then we get to the White Tower. We go back to the White Tower. Swan is in her study. She's sniffing these notes from Moraine, I presume. And in the middle of her doing all this, Elida comes in, and Elida calls her everything but a child of God. She was like, I'm going to be calling for a vote, and I will be calling for a vote to cage the dragon. And you need to get on board with it, pretty much. And Swan is like, I ain't got time for you, girl. But she called everything but a child of God. She calls her a river rat, river trash. She said, I know what you are. You might got everybody else fooled, but I know what you are. I'm like, oh, is she calling her what I think she calling her? She's basically like, I see you. You and Moraine, I know what y'all are. Mm-hmm. So she's calling them out. She called Swan out to her face. And after this, Swan is after her. Swan says, I want Elida's head. So we need to find out if she is the last Black Aja member. And so Varen and Leanne set Elida up, in Swan, of course, at Swan's behest. And so they use Adelaide, even though her mind has been shattered through the compulsion. They are able to trick Elida into going into the 13th, I want to call that the 12th depository for some reason, the 13th depository, where the other Black Aja, Joya, and Amiko are being held. And they want to know if she's going to try to help them be freed, or if she try to kill them to silence them. So she goes in and she's talking to them, and Amiko's like, I'll never give them up. I'll never give up my sisters. And she goes, I believe you. Slices her throat, kills her immediately. And I wish I could put the video up, but it was too long. It's so good. Oh my God, the video, the scene of Elida in the depository was so chilling. She's not my favorite, right? Because I'm always Team Swan. But this scene was so powerful. It was so chilling. I loved it. I became an Elida stan for half a second. Then she goes to Joya, and she's like, you're going to give me their names. And she starts channeling again, and she snatches Joya up, had Joya like this, snatched up, give me the names, give me them. And then she like, I told the Emerald that I would negotiate. What she say that for? Negotiate? Elida's like, I am not like Swan Sanche. This is not a negotiation. And then she yoked her up even more. She had her bent, twisted, crushed up like cornbread, crisscross applesauce hands in your lap. Elida had this girl hooked. Oh my God. Y'all see this? That girl was all twisted upside down to the side. And she like, this is not a negotiation. You're going to give me these names. You will not leave this cell alive. And all you will feel is pain. And right before she's like, her name is, and right before she's able to give up who the last member of the Black Aja is, a gray man, which we saw running anyway, comes and kills Joya, and then jumps on Elida and starts stabbing her. And she couldn't do nothing. And this is a lot of controversy too. People were like, how can she kill, other Aes Sedai because of the three oaks and all of that? But we understand that they can't kill or harm. However, the third oath specifically accounts for dark friends and shadow spawn that Aes Sedai are able to kill them because of who they are. They're people of the dark. And so they are excluded, and Aes Sedai can freely attack and kill them, which Elaida did. And then they're also like, how come she couldn't sense the gray man? Well, because the gray man ain't got no soul, so she didn't see him. They're so, without the soul, they're so gray that they could be in your face, child, you wouldn't even see it. They're dang near invisible. That's why they're good assassins. And I also, too, why she couldn't do nothing, I've had this issue, is that the Aes Sedai of the modern age are too dependent on their hands. Because you see her reach up for her hands, trying to reach to the one power. If she wasn't so dependent on her hands, she could have channeled probably and knocked him off before he even got them stabs on her. Or when he was, she could have threw him off. But before he kills her, Leanne comes in, knocks him out. Swan goes to heal Elaida. Leanne, boss as she is, she takes out the great man, kills him. And Swan tells Elaida, I may have misjudged you, sister. Because she was like, did you do this? You sent me here? Yes. Yes, she did. And a lot of people are like, oh, it was like mutual respect. Like, I see you, girl. You got me. I had you. You got me. And I'm looking like, I don't think there was no mutual respect. It's like, oh, you almost got me killed, heifer. I got something for you. And granted, I know what happens in the future. So I'm kind of like, oh, I'm dreading it. But we're going to see how it all plays out. But wonderful scene. Loved it. Loved getting to see Elaida channel. Because I know a lot of people were waiting to see that. But just the scene overall was fantastic. Okay. Loved every bit of it. Also, the Tanchico crew is what we also got to talk about really quickly. The Tanchico crew, Nynaeve, Elaine, Matt, and Min, the stowaway, they on the ship. Poor Nynaeve is got motion sickness. She throwing up in a bucket. Elaine trying to keep them all down in the down in the bottom compartment because they're not supposed to come up. They made a deal with the wind finders. I think that's what you call the sea folk. That's their official name. And so she's like, we got to stay down here. But they're like, no, we got to get up there. On board. So they go up on board in the midst of this. And so they get up there on board and they eventually see, well, Matt sees Min and he go chasing her behind down, back down into the belly of the boat. Right, which he sees her drawings of him hanging himself, and he's like, "Well, your vision ain't always true. Your vision said I was gonna kill Rand with that dagger, and he didn't die. So I'm not gonna kill myself. So I ain't even worried about it." But he clearly pissed. And then we see the wind finders or the sea folk using their own version of the one power. Right, beautiful. Again, the visuals, y'all, I cannot stress enough. It was so elegant. It was graceful watching them weave and work the ocean in the wind using the water weaves. We don't see too many water weaves. And mixing it with the air weaves and creating something more bold and something graceful and so beautiful, kind of like the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis is kind of what it looked like to me. And they were like, you're not supposed to be up here. This is what we don't want the Aes Sedai to know that we can channel, because they were always told that the wind finders, the sea folks, they couldn't become full sisters because they didn't have that much power. But that's only what they want the Aes Sedai to believe, because they don't want them to know that they can do more than that, because they ain't trying to be tied down by the White Tower rules, which I completely understand. How many times have we seen in shows and movies and different series that the government, or in this term, the White Tower, wants to control people and use them the way they want them to be used, right? You can even think about Marvel with the Sokovia Accords. They wanted to get all the superheroes and have them sign up so they could, be in control of how they did this and how they did that. No, we're going to do what we want to do, how we want to do it. So we're going to make y'all believe that y'all don't want us because we're not good enough. But in reality, we can do what y'all can and sometimes more. So shout out to the Sea Folk, the Wind Finders. Love that scene. But also another important part about this, I think, was one of them telling Nynaeve, you can't touch the power, can you? You can't touch it, the source. And she's like, no. Oh, sometimes. Only when when I get mad. And basically she was telling her that there's more than one way to channel. Kind of like what Leandra was telling her in season 2. And pretty much was telling her to just ground herself, feel her feet, and embrace it. Don't try to control. You can't control it. It's going to come when it comes. And I love this advice. So hopefully the advice that she was given will allow her to eventually channel in the future, because we want to see her, because we know she's powerful. We know she up there in the power level. So we want to see more Nynaeve channeling and doing some good stuff. Now we want to see her in action. I'm tired of her being sidelined. All this and Elaine, eat this and relying on everybody else. No, I want you to use your own power to save yourself. Save yourself, Nynaeve. Please. So I hope we get to see this very soon. I would love it. I would love nothing more. So after we see the Tanchico crew, they do eventually land in Tanchico, and it's looking a little shady, especially at nighttime. So we see them do that, and that's their little storyline for the rest of the episode. The last little bit of the arc, well, there's 2 more parts, was the Two Rivers arc, where the rescue of Matt's sisters and his mother commences. Perrin puts a group together to go save them. And then we have Alana and Maxim. People are giving them a hard time. I don't understand why they mad that they getting some screen time. I love me some Alana. Miss Priyanka, love her down. Love her down. Listen, apparently, according to the books, I've said this before, that Alana was not a big character. But ma'am, Priyanka, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. She has brought this character so much depth and so much. It's a fierce something about it. It's like she's a lioness. I can't even describe it. I just love Alana. She's literally one of my favorites. And to watch what she does in these moments was incredible. So grief is a tough topic. And Maxim was like, I'm sick of this. I am going to go do what we should have been doing, is go find Leandrin. She cuts off the bond. She's like, fine, go. I cut the bond. Do what you got to do. I'm going to go help them. I'm going to create this cover for them because they need some cover, right? And Alana got up there and she got to weaving, creating the fog, the mist, to give them some, a little bit of invisibility, if you will, while they go stage the rescue. And as she was creating this fog, it reminded me of Storm, Halle Berry's Storm from Days of Future Past. That's what it was giving for me. Like, mist fall upon them and cover their tracks. Keep the enemy from seeing where they're at. But it was just another display of beautiful channeling in the weaves used to create the fog. But in the middle of her creating this fog, Valda, oh my God, y'all, I'm so sick of Valda. Child Valda, I want y'all to take him out. Somebody take him out. I'm sick of him. He's like, oh, there's a real witch at work. Because before then, my apologies, Bane, I want to say, the son of the White Cloak leader that Perrin killed, he was trying to question the mama and the sisters about Perrin. They weren't giving him up. And then he tried to like, the mama tried to take his keys and he like snatched them back and he tried to attack her. And then he gets knocked back by an airweave. And he's like, oh, one of y'all a witch for real? One of y'all channeling? Bet. This changes everything. I'm taking you to the questioner, Valda. And the mom was like, it was me. So they take the mama and he tortures her to death. And, she didn't really have no power. It was one of them girls, clearly. She was just being a mother, protecting her babies. And so he was like, this is the work of a real one. This is a different Aes Sedai. So we're going to go up there. We're going to handle that. So while she's weaving the fog, she hears some twigs breaking and she gets shot with some arrows. She puts up another shield, but they still get her and they start attacking her. And she get, she gets 5 different arrows to the back, to the side, to the stomach, to the chest. And all hope looks lost. It looks like we're going to lose her. But in comes Maxim, and he starts tearing them up, slicing, dicing, whoop, whoop. And she's like, how did you find me? He's like, girl, you turned that bomb back on 5 arrows ago. Clock her tea. Clock her tea, Maxim. I enjoyed it. I'm glad he came back to save her because I did not want to lose Alana. And they killed the rest of the white cloaks that attacked her. But that dang Valda, nowhere to be found. So, of course, he survives. When is somebody going to get him? Please, somebody get him. Get him for me. And then we get back to Perrin and Fael. And I think I'm saying that girl name right. So they start fighting. They rescue the girls. They rescue the girls, Matt's sisters. And the maidens of the spirit, they take them to safety. And then Bane confronts Perrin. They get to fighting. Perrin gets to losing. Why he won't use his wolf instinct, I don't know. But then Fael has to come. Fael, whatever that baby name is, she has to come and save him. And she stabs Bane in the chest. I don't think he dead either. Because y'all know, if there ain't no body, it's not a death. TV teaches us that. So many TV shows have taught us that. If we don't see the body with our own eyes, and we don't see the life leave their eyes, anybody can be alive. So that was the conclusion of the Two Rivers rescue of the girls. Unfortunately, Matt's mama was burnt at the stake and her tongue was cut out. Lord, bless her heart. Bless her heart, bless them girls. Bless Matt when he find out. That's going to hurt him. And so they take the girls back to the White Tower, is what I presume they're going to do. Or is that me having, saw some spoilers or whatnot from the book readers? Whichever, we know they're going to get to the White Tower. Or maybe it's the visions. Because as we wrap up, we get to the part where we're back with the Aiel Waste. We're back with that crew. And Moraine comes to Egwene. Somebody on Twitter said, she's not beating the favorite child allegations. Like, that's Moraine's child. Like, Moraine loves her some Egwene down. And so she asked Egwene to walk her into somebody's dreams. She needs to go visit and share some information with. And of course, she's like, girl, I don't know how to do it. I'm not thick. I just started yesterday. This is only my 3rd day. I don't know. But she does do it based on, I don't know if she's just that advanced in it, or she didn't that much practice, or she just willed it. But she was able to take Moraine into Swan's dreams, where she warned Swan that if the White Tower does not bend the knee to Rand al'Thor, the Dragon Reborn, we're going to lose the war. The last battle will be lost. And in the midst of this, we have a very heartfelt, tear-jerking moment between the two, where they're like, pretty much like, I want you, you want me, but we can't have each other. It's too much. Too much has happened. Too much is going on. Too much is at stake. But Swan says, I will always wait for you. And Moraine said that she'll be looking for her. She'll always look for her. Beautiful. Who's touching? But Egwene didn't stop there. No, she took her nosy behind to all of her friends' dreams. Was she supposed to do that? No, that's an invasion of privacy. Because she goes to Elaine's dream. She sees Elaine dreaming with Avienda, because they together, they like each other. and they at the helm of a ship with the beautiful weave work of the wind finders. So now she knows, because they swore an oath to the wind finders they would not share what they saw with Aes Sedai. Egwene made no such promise. So I'm like, will Egwene tell anybody? I hope not. Maybe the girls will be able to tell her if she questions them about it. So she's in a dream. She see that. Then she go to Perrin, and we see Hopper. Oh, Hopper is back. Perrin is back in Two Rivers. He's blacksmithing it. And then he's with Fael, so he done moved on, child. You just met that girl yesterday, and now you dreaming of y'all married with a life in this dog. In your wolf Hopper. Then she also goes to Nynaeve's dream, which was her and Eleanor. I think that's her daughter name. Again, forgive me with the names, but she was with her daughter, pretty much teaching her daughter. They were back in the Two Rivers, and she was like kind of teaching her how to listen to the wind, kind of how she did with Egwene at the beginning of the series. So it was a really sweet moment. Matt's dream was at the White Tower. His mom was there. The sisters were there. They had made up. It was a beautiful, touching, but heartbreaking because like, oh, yeah, the mama didn't make it. So sad. But they were happy in that dream. And then she gets to Rand. And she's like watching Rand. And then it goes from bad to worse. Because then Lanfear appears. She appeared to Rand earlier in the episode, basically, telling him that she's in love with him pretty much. And he's basically like, oh yeah, I know who you were before all of this. And we're going to get you back right. She's a different person. She's just playing this boy, but is he playing her? Who knows? But anyways, Egwene watches them, and Lanfear sees her, and she starts kissing all up on Rand and looking at her all crazy and letting her know, like, this is mine. I got him. Yep. And so that's pretty much how the episode ends with Egwene in Rand's dream. Well, she went to all of her friends' dreams, but she ends with him, and she discovers the hidden truth that he'd been cheating on her with Lanfear in his dreams. Because earlier in the episode I didn't mention this, but they kind of had little kids, but they clearly growing apart, and it ain't the same. They really got time for each other. And now she catch him in the dreams with Lanfear. So now she really know what's up. So how this is gonna play out, I don't know, but I'm excited to see it because the previews for episode 6, it's look like it's supposed to be some stuff, y'all. It's about to go down episode 6. So I cannot wait till it comes out this Thursday. So I will be reviewing that on time for sure. So we ain't got to do 2 episodes at once. But I'm also thinking about going live on here. So if y'all watching this, y'all make it this far, please put in the comments. I want to go live on TikTok. I think I'm going to go live on TikTok. Maybe not the night of, because I got work in the morning on Fridays when they come out. But maybe Friday night, I'll go live on TikTok. And maybe even live on here on YouTube. Depending on if y'all get in here, y'all tell me what y'all want and need. But I just want to hear from y'all. I want to get y'all's thoughts on the episode as well. So y'all know the drill. Before we head out, make sure you subscribe to my channel, especially if you made it this far. I appreciate you greatly. Even though this is not a big channel, I'm starting from the ground up. I'm doing the best I can with what I got, okay? But please subscribe. The wheel wills it, of course. So do what the wheel does and turn those notifications on once you subscribe, so you never miss when I got an episode coming out. And again, follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the E.A.R Chronicles, and of course on Twitter as well at E.A.R Chronicles. And before I close, I'm wrapping this episode up. My review for episode 5, I am giving it a solid 9. It was a 9 for me. Yes, it was. So many great moments. So many great moments and so many stunning visuals. Loved it down. Nah, I ain't gonna give it a 9. That's too high. I'm gonna give it 8.5. I'm gonna give it 8.5. 8.5. I was thinking about it. I was like, 9 is high. 8.5. I'm gonna give it 8.5 for episode 5. So I won't hold you long. Thank you all so much for sticking it out with your boy Eric at the E.A.R Chronicles, the place where you're going to get my thoughts and opinions on TV shows and movies that I like, but also I want to hear your thoughts as well. So until next time, light be with you, light be with me, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.